Welcome to part 2 of my Nemesis Prime Smackdown reviews. I'm now taking a look at the MakeToys Battle Tanker Nemesis edition, who is basically, this set kind of started out with just being an add-on to, I don't even remember what it was. It was like some Hasbro Prime figure that they kept making this add-on for in different colors and stuff. And then they came out with these two. They came out with this dude, and I think it was called Hypernovae or something like that. I can't really remember. I think it was supposed to be a Nexus Prime, maybe? Nominus? Nova Prime? Someone? Don't care. I didn't get that one. I got this one because he's amazing looking. But the two most recent ones that they did actually came with a figure that they remolded based on the Prime figure mold that they used to make this thing for, but this is actually a unique mold that's got different stuff that they made. So, cool. It connects like any normal trailer would. And this is basically where all the add-on stuff is, and this is the core robot that can transform on his own and become his own man. Both the cab and trailer are basically the length of Generations RC and the Classics Prime mold. Here's Withdrawal from Warbitron's Bruticus line. And here are both Nemesises next to each other. He does come with some other accessories that I have kind of attached up to a thingy that we'll talk about later. And he also comes with a cape. This cape comes out of the box like super stiff. Sorry, dog hair. And you basically just have to like crumple it up and treat it like it's like a washcloth. And then it will eventually, over a long period of time, like you can like put it in the back pocket of your pants for a week or something. And it will eventually end up kind of looking like good. I'm still not a super fan of it, and I'm not really ever interested in having my Transformers wear capes, so I'll show this off in the review and I will probably never use it again. The chains are kind of cool, though. Probably won't end up using those very often either. You can, if you wish, either with or without the chains attached, peg this back thing right into the back of the truck for storage. You just have that there, and I mean, you can take the chains off and put them somewhere else, I suppose. There's not really anywhere to store them, and I think this looks kind of terrible anyway, so I just leave this off to the side. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I appreciate them trying. That's nice, but I'm not gonna use that. So just taking a look at the cab now. All of this is him except for this front bit, which you can pop off. It pegs in up front. You can set that off to the side. And this is basically your core robot. He's got a sword gun thing attached between his legs. Right there. It's good. Good looking truck. It's got a lot of good like tech detailing and panel lining and stuff on it. It's nice. To transform him, you want to pop this stuff up. And then the legs peg together kind of like that fits in on top of that. And just take the sword out, pegs in between the legs. And up here, you want to lightly split this. Unpeg the arms. Like so. Kind of lift this up. This corner there kind of lightly pegs in there. And then these you can just kind of fold up and push back and get out of your way. Then you'll have kind of a thing looking like this. Obviously these are your shoulders, you're going to push those down. This whole assembly, you're going to push the head out. It's going to fold around and then push right back into place like that. And then this whole thing, again, you can kind of fold all this stuff up to get it out of your way. You're going to push the windows in on the sides. You can see they push in like that. And then fold this over and collapse it down like so. And you just want to rotate his hands around. His heel will fold down first, then his foot. And then these rotate around and then fold in to the leg. Except on the bottom, don't be silly like me. And you want to flap those flaps around. And then that will fold in like so. And this will slide up like that. And these will fold together and kind of like clip together lightly. And then you can just pop that up onto the back. And you can either point that out or leave it down as a butt flap. Butt flap! And then these things you kind of just do what you want with. They will be used later. I usually kind of just position them backwards or outwards like wings or something. And there you have the base robot, and it's robot mode. His little weapon. He has a bigger sword for his other mode. And there he is. Here is the base robot next to Galvatron and Octane or Tankor. His articulation is all basically the same in both this mode and his armored up mode. He has a ball joint on his head. He also has a little bit of back and forth movement from transformation. He has full rotation in his shoulders, outward and inward movement. He also has a secondary hinge here, upper arm swivel, elbow bend, and a ball joint in his hand that is also on a pin. He has waist rotation, ratcheted universal joints for his hips, upper leg swivel, a ratcheted knee joint, a ball joint on his foot that is also on a moving peg, and kind of a heel-ish thing. To get him ready for his armored up mode, you are basically just going to want to come in here, and this middle section kind of slides backwards and forwards, and you want to basically slide it down until it meets up with this, like so. Oh wait, no, sorry, wrong one. You want to slide it down until it's like that. So it's going from being up there to being down here. And then those are going to swivel around onto his arms, like so. And make giant shoulder pads. And then you just want to put his feet back as if you are going into vehicle mode. And I believe you need to pull these wheels out, but I'll know in a second when we actually start. So coming over to the trailer, first thing you're going to want to do is just pop this front part off. And then this whole bit lifts up, pegs in under there. So you can lift that up like that. And these two chunks will slide off of there. They use this little track right there to slide along these inner grooves on the bottom. And then you can split this whole business. These two little things slide down. And basically you have his two arm sections slotted around the ends of the cannon using the two grooves that are on the inside there. And spinning that around, on the back end of that you have his crotch piece and his two hands. And then this can basically get set aside. And now we are basically going to set about building the bot. So the first things first, come down to these little bits that you slid off, and you're just going to want to straighten out the feet and spin them around like so. Foot one, foot two. And then taking him, you want to match the legs up with obviously the one that the wheel is going to go around there. And actually I think I was wrong, and you do not need to pull the wheel out for this, I think. I will see in a second if this clips in properly. So you're basically just fitting this in, and then these will clip around the bottom of his foot, the part that becomes his heel. And this is probably the only really difficult part of this whole set, is getting this all to lock in properly. And then once you get that clipped in, this will peg into his foot like that. And there you have his first foot leg thing done. Basically just repeat that on the other side. And there you have his legs complete. So for his arms, and it is sometimes kind of just easier to put these hands on first before you even worry about the arm bits. So you want to rotate this little hinge bit so that the clip part is facing inwards towards the arm. I think. So you basically want to match up this peg that's on the outside with the deep indentation that's there. So it's going to be like that, I think. Maybe it's the other way around. Yes, sorry. So it's like that, and then it's just going to clip on to the arm, like so. You want to peg the crotch piece in. And then the chest piece kind of clips around the bottom and then pops up around top. And that's kind of the basic configuration there. And then if you would like to, you can split this and these attach to the sides of his legs. You can give him his tiny weapon in one hand, if you wish, and then he has his giant sword that he can use. So he definitely ends up looking really, really awesome. And this is probably how I will display him a majority of the time, is just like this without any of the extra bells and whistles, but I will get into them now. So you can, if you wish, take the little part that I showed off before, and using the two pegs on the back right there, kind of peg this thing. It's a little tricky. Peg it into the back of the figure, like so. And then, using the included spawn chains, you are supposed to wrap this around like so and attach it. So I was actually incorrect. You were supposed to plug the skull pegs into the bottom holes there, and then these little spiky cover things go up on the upper ones, and that gives you enough clearance to actually peg this little matrix thing together. So this is how that's actually supposed to look. And again, not too bad. I mean, I'm not necessarily against this look. I just don't really have any real attachment to robots and capes, so I'm more just kind of a just give me the robot type of guy. So and now for the size comparison between these two guys. Obviously, he is kind of going for a different scale. This is a very beefy, very large figure, kind of deceptively so. It doesn't come off as being very large when you see pictures of it, but it's a fairly large kind of Voyager Plus. It's definitely not like liter size, but it's a pretty hefty and large stature for like a Voyager scale figure. So, and just for thoroughness, here he is without his big cape junky junk on, so you can get a better idea of their actual like body shape and size. And then obviously these leg things can come off as well if you're not a fan of those. And here's a size comparison just to show him off in his armored mode, so you can tell the difference between the size of his two modes. So it does make him significantly chunkier and taller than he was without all the armor on. So all in all, having taken a look now at both of these figures, I'm just going to reiterate what I said in the beginning of my first review, which is that they're both fantastic, and they're both really going for different things. So depending on what you're looking for, you could have room for both of these in your collection, or just one, or the other. So it's really going to come down to personal preference, but in terms of just general quality and design, they're both really great figures. This guy does offer a little bit more in the play value area, since he does come with the trailer and all the accessories, and he has like the normal bot mode and then kind of a powered up armored mode. And this guy is just a straight vehicle to single bot transformation. So I guess you could argue there that he has like another mode there, so he might be getting a little bit more, but he actually does run a little bit more, and I think he was a limited edition figure, so I'm not even sure how easy it is to track one of these down anymore, or what that would run you. I pre-ordered it months ago, so I was in on the initial wave through the MakeToys website. So, since this is the review for Nemesis here, and I've already talked about Mr. Orionvil over there, just in a vacuum, this figure is absolutely fantastic. I don't know exactly what it's going for. Again, like I said back when I was talking about the cape, it's not like he's particularly designed after any specific incarnation of Nemesis Prime or Scourge or any of those type of characters that I'm aware of. I am a pretty big fan of the IDW general universe. I have not read anything from the Dreamwave comics, so it's possible this is something that's calling back to like that stuff, because I would have no idea. It would totally fly over my head. But I don't think so. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of Nemesis Prime type characters, and I've never seen photographs or pictures or fan art or anything of this type of design. So I think this is just kind of MakeToys doing as MakeToys do, and coming up with a really, really cool design and putting it out, and having it just kind of be a general homage or update to a character or an idea. So what my basic plan is just to kind of have this just be like a Nemesis Prime, and then use the other guy as a Scourge, and just be like, well, whatever, they're different characters. I don't really care. They are so different in design, and even to a certain extent scale and size, and the whole different modes thing. It really distinguishes them both from each other enough that I feel very confident in saying that if you like them both, and you want them both, and you can afford them both, get them both. I don't think you're going to be like, oh, I'm upset that I own both of these, because they're worlds apart. They're really very, very different, and this just as a set is a really, really fantastic set with a lot of different display options, a lot of different play stuff going on, lots of little parts and accessories, and again, I don't know if I showed this off enough, but the head sculpt is just redonkadonk. It just looks like evil. This looks like some kind of Hollywood craziness evil right there, so that is a huge A+ for them, because that head sculpt is awesome. And also his giant, like, pyramid head greatsword thing is pretty neat. And the spawn chains with the skulls. I swear those are spawn skulls. Are those not? Come on, those are spawn skulls, right? I'm not crazy. Tell me I'm not crazy. Those are from Spawn. I really just... I could just gush on and on and on and on and on about both of these figures, but especially this one for hours, probably. I like absolutely everything about them. I have virtually zero complaints about anything at all. I mean, total recommendation. Total, probably one of the highest recommendations I've ever given for figures for both of these, to be honest. I really... Obviously, Orionvil, again, doesn't have the armored up mode and stuff, and is a little bit more difficult in the transformation scheme, according to some people. This guy is a little bit more straightforward. He's not super difficult to transform or anything. He is based on a pretty simple Hasbro toy, so there's that. But again, totally different things, both really awesome in their own right, and both definitely have a place in your collection if you can find one and if you want them to. So that is my recommendation. A+, thumbs up all around. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.